We're back and we are going to talk about brushes for our lower lash line and brushes for our upper lash line. So that is what these are. So I'm going to separate out the duplicates that I have, which I know I have not been doing prior to the video. I only have one of that one. Is that possible? That is not possible. So, wow, some of these I have like quite a few. That one I'll probably give away. I have 2 of those. Do I use those? Yeah, I do. So actually it's good that I'm going through these because, oh, I think that other one's over there that I showed you. So this is helping me to see like what I really use and why. And if I'm not using a brush, to get rid of it. So these are the different, ow, my back just pinched or something weird just happened. So these are brushes I use for my lower lash line and for other reasons. And so we're going to get to the other reasons. But these are all of those. That's a lot of those. I didn't have that many shaders or blending brushes, did I? And these are the extras. Excuse me for the glare. So these are the extras. And yeah, so I'm going to put that home. So as I show you, I can put them away. This one, I have 2 of these. I don't use them often. It's a Scott Barnes brush. It's the angled, and it's domed, like a domed angled eyeliner brush. I don't use these for upper lash line, which I probably should try it. And I think I did before, but it was hard for me to get into the inner corner. That's what my issue was. And so it's just user error, because then I could have flipped it around to use the pointy side. You can also use it for lower lash line. What do I use it for? Do I use this brush? You can use it for, and I did declutter quite a few eyeliner brushes before to someone, you know who you are, that does a lot of graphic liner looks, because I had a lot of these brushes, not this particular one, but a lot of liner brushes that I just was not using. But you can use these to carve out, you know, your lip line, carve out your brows, of course, upper lash line, lower lash line. I don't really use this though. Maybe I will use it for liner on my lower lash line. And I did keep some, and I'm sure I kept this for when I experiment with graphic liner. And this would be good for gel liner under here, except the brush also combs through my lashes, and I don't want to have gel liner in my lashes. So I don't know, but yeah, it would be good for just for graphic liner. But I'm really like, am I seriously going to use this though? How many of these do I have? I think I only have, don't tell me I only have 1 of these. Wait a minute. I only have 1 of these. You know why? Because I gave the other ones away. Because I think I purchased 2 of these. But I don't know. Because I just don't use it. I just don't. But it would be good for... See, and I don't want to lie to myself and say, okay, I'm going to keep it and use it, and then I still don't. And I don't remember when I last used it, even though it would be good for... You know why I have sparkles on my lids? Because my microfiber cloth down here has fallout on it. And my brushes, before I'm showing them to you, they're on top of the microfiber cloth. That's why. And even my hands, I'm like, where is this glitter? Because I'm seeing like sparkles on my lids. Anyway, so I don't want to keep lying to myself that I'm going to use it. And so maybe I'm just being over ambitious, thinking, okay, y'all use it for this or use it for that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it because, okay. This one, which one do I just have one? These 2 are the, the last 2 of the Blend Bunny brushes. And they are for crease brushes. Like if it's particularly, excuse me, if you have small lids. This one is weird to me because it's just like a weird shape. It's just square. I do prefer this one, but this one is good for, I use all of these lower lash line, even though they're for crease stuff. But this one to me is just weird because it's so blunt. But I use it for blending out shadow on my lower lash line. That's what I used it for. This one I prefer because it's tapered and it just feels better on my lower lash line. This one, to me, the blunt one, is just, it's still soft though, but the tapered one, it just feels better. And so I use it for that, and you can use it for under your brow too, but I just use it for lower lash line. This one, this is a crown brush. Oh, it just about wore off. This came in a subscription box. I like this brush. It's soft, but it's dense, and I like that it's pointed because I can do right under the brow. This one I like for when I put gel pencil liner under here. I can easily blend out that pencil liner because this is a stiff brush. Like it may be just because it's so short. Like it's not a lot of give, but it's also very soft. And so this one I usually use for if I blend out the gel pencil liner under here. Because it is so tapered, you can also use it for your brows. If I want to be very precise, which when am I ever? I'm not. This would be a hiccup, excuse me, good for just your inner corner because it is very pointed and you can just get it directly where you want to get it. So this one I do like. This one I never use, and I kept it for the same reason that I kept this one. Telling myself I'm going to use it for graphic liner. It's angled. I am not good with these for upper lash line because I always have a problem getting in the inner corner, even though I could just take pointy side down and put it there, but I'm not good at that. But you can use this for upper lash line work. You can do it for your lower lash line. You can use it, you know, to carve out your brows. If you do that with your concealer, that would work wonderfully for that. You can use it also to clean up your lip line. I have used it for that before, either this one or the other one. But usually my lips are not symmetrical, and so however it looks, it is accentuated when I wear dark lipstick, like how uneven my lips are, and I really don't care enough to manipulate the lip product to make my lips look even because it's still not going to look right because my lips aren't even. So if I overline or underline, it's still going to be noticeable. And so I don't really put too much effort into it, and so it just goes to just me accepting my features. But if you do that, this would be great for that. If you're a professional makeup artist, you know, you most likely, or your client most likely, will want you to even out their features. And so this would be good for, you know, your lip line, your brows, lower lash line, and also upper lash line. But I never use it, and I tell myself the same thing. When I use the graphic liner or practice the graphic liner, I'm going to use this brush, but I don't. And I'm looking to see what brushes do I use. Oh, the other brushes. So I'm going to consider, I'm going to put that in the giveaway pile because I'm just lying to myself. I really am. But this would be good though if I just want to stamp liner and not be precise. You know what I'm saying? Like just do like a shape or do a line here and do a line. I have other brushes I can do that with, so I'm going to give that away too. This one, this is, I think I showed you this one already. Defined crease brush from Makeup Geek. I use this for lower lash line, and so I do have some in my blending brush container, and this one is in my lower lash line container because this is, you know, I use it for that as well. I have like 3 of these. And it took me a long time to just be like, just use it, girl. Because this is an Hourglass number 9. As you see, it is just a stubby brush. I forget what the website says it's for. I use this for buffing out lower lash line. If I want to blow out the shadow, meaning not just have it close to my lash line, but if I want to bring it down, I'll use this to buff it out because it'll buff it and blow it down at the same time and pretty much keep it even all the way across. I have tried it for blending in my outer corner shade, but I don't really like it for that because it's so dense. It is soft, but it's dense, and so it doesn't give me a lot of flexibility. Like if it's a pigmented shadow, which the shadows I use are, once it's there, it's just there, and it's hard to blend it out with this brush because the brush is dense. And even when I try to use another brush to blend out, it still just doesn't quite work well. And I do have 3 of these And I think I purchased them all at the same time. But I really don't use this brush except to blend under here. And to do that, I don't need 3 of these. Because even if I'm doing one look over here and one look over here, I only need 2. So I have 3 of these. And so I'm going to put this one away and take one that I didn't just do that with. And that's going to go in giveaway. Even though I am still going to wash the brushes that I'm giving away. And I need to figure out how I'm going to do that, because who wouldn't want like 10 blending brushes? Somebody. I don't know. This one, I have 2 of these. This is an Esom V09. This little teeny tiny liner brush. And this is one that I kept, this and the other one. And I do, excuse me for shaking you, I do only have 2 of these. These I did say I'm going to keep them for when I do graphic liner. And I do like this for when I put a line, a non-traditional liner color, like just under my brow. And I think this will come in handy too for when I do, a couple times I did fill in my brows, but I used a bigger brush than this with a gel liner, but this will be good for that. It is good for placing lower lash line. I don't like it for upper lash line because, again, it's hard for me to get in my inner corners because of the shadowing from my hand and I can't see, and blah, blah, blah. My life is so hard, first world problems. But this also I like for if I want to be excuse me, if I want to be very precise with my inner corner color, because it is so tiny, I can just do this. Just right here on the top edge of the inner lash line and do the bottom. And that's it. What I also like this for, them friggin' skin show shades and the motherships. Most of those I don't like because the shade is just off and it's just bright. But I will use this for that because it's so friggin' tiny and thin. And I'll just run a thin line like right under my brow. So I do actually use this brush for my brows. And I don't use it often for lower lash line. But this also is good for blending out when I put a gel liner pencil under here because it is so small and precise. And so I am keeping that one. This one I showed, no, I didn't show it to you already. This one I have 3 of them. V31 from Esom. I believe it's a detail brush or a crease brush because you can get directly in your crease with this. What I use this for is for outer V. That's what I use this for. And also buffing out lower lash line. I do sometimes use it for brow bone because I can just come straight across. I'll use it for that. Or sometimes if I want to further blend out the transition shade underneath the brow bone, I'll just take this and just feather just to further that blend. But usually I'm using this for outer V or for lower lash line. So I am keeping those. So this is a multi-purpose brush. All brushes are multi-purpose brushes for the most part. These 3, you've seen me use these quite a bit. We have the Scott Barnes, which says Travel Angled Smudge. We have the Fenty 220, and we have a Makeup Forever number 210, and it says wavy. So I'm thinking that was just the line because the other one says straight and wavy, and the bristles are all straight. So like I don't know, but I don't even know if they still make this. But this one I like for, and every time I use it, I'm like this big ass smudger brush. Like look how thick this is. Look how thick. What are you smudging? What? What are you smudging and where? I mean, I guess if you're smudging like your outer corner color out or your liner out, but what I use it for is when I want to place and blow down my lower lash line shade because this is so friggin' wide. And you've seen me do it. You've seen me with a shimmer shade, most likely, place it under my lower lash line, stamp it, wiggle it in, turn it pointy side out, and do over here, and then do this area here. So that's what I do. So it's placed and it's placed wide because this is a wide ass brush and I love it for that. And then because I like having the shimmer underneath, I do want more depth closer to my lash line. So then I'll take this brush, short, stubby smudger brush, and I'll place usually a darker matte shadow. So I'll have the shimmer that's wide down here, and then I'll take a darker and a matte shade and put that right under the lash line. That's what I usually use this for. This is also good for me for blending out gel pencil liner too, because it is so stubby. It does blend out very well. But usually I use it just to place directly as close to my lower lash line as possible. Whereas this one, I blow out and blow down the shimmer first. And I really do like that look. And I know a lot of people don't seem to put shimmer on their lower lash line, but it's just something about the look, having that color here and then having it darker like right up here. And y'all know I do things different if you've been here. So that's what I like that one for. This one is the Fenty 220 and it says Precision Brush. This one, what do I use this for? I know I use it for, I think I use it mostly, for my brow bone color because, because it is tapered. So you see how it has that point to it? And so I can get, and usually with the Skin Show shades, I can just get a thin line right under my brow. And, you know, if I want to do my inner corner, you know, I'll do some here and then turn it and come down here. So that's what I use this one for, and I do like that brush for that. And you can use it for any detail work. If you want to do an outer V, you can. It's going to be sharp because it's a pointy brush. But if that's the look you're going for, and even maybe for graphic looks, because it is pointy, but it's not going to be as precise as a thinner brush, such as that little teeny tiny one that's hiding from me, as this one. But this would be good for that too. But I like this for my brow bone. I like it for inner corner work, even placing underneath lower lash line sometimes. So that is it for lower lash line. So now we're going to do our upper lash line. These are the brushes for that. And I'm going to take out duplicates. I have now 5 of the MAC 210 brushes because I can get a super thin line with that. I have quite a few. No, I don't. 2. I have 3. 3 of the Melt Cosmetics. That's a random brush. And I have left 4 of the Esom. I did give a couple away. And I have 2 lethal brushes. And wait a minute, 5? 6. I have 6 of the MAC 210s. Wow. And then I have 2 angled brushes. This one I found, it's Morphe. And I only got it because I don't deal with Morphe at all. Like I never did. I saw this at, where was I? Either TJ Maxx or Marshall's, and it was like $3, $4, something like that. I'm like, oh, I'll get it. I like angled eyeliner brushes. That doesn't help because it blends into my skin tone. I like angled eyeliner brushes because, what is this one? Oh, I have 2 inglot ones out. I like the angled brushes. And I first realized how much I love them way back in the day because Smashbox, this is going back like probably 20 years. They had an angled eyeliner brush. And the idea is you can just put the eyeliner, you can put the brush here and it goes right behind your lashes. Instead of a brush that's straight, you have to turn the brush. You know what I'm saying? If it's angled, you have your gel liner on your brush and you can just go straight behind your lashes without having to turn the brush sideways. But it's a habit for me to still do that anyway. But that's what first made me love the shape of this brush. That feels kind of pokey. But that's why I do like the angle brushes, because you can get behind your lashes without turning the brush. So that one, I don't remember when I last used it. And it did stain. So if I decide not to keep it, I'll just throw it away. This one, same deal. This is Inglot. I got this from on Amazon. And one of the gel liners, you know, you had the option to bundle it with a brush. This one frayed. And actually I have 2 of them. This one frayed too, but not as badly. The Morphe one didn't fray at all. But this one, same deal. You just go straight behind your brows. I'm looking at all this shine on my lid from the fallout on my cloth. But the same deal. You got the liner on it, and you can come straight behind your lashes without turning your brush. And so it's very handy because you don't have to like turn the brush, come this way, and then do all of that. You just keep your face straight and just come right behind your eyelashes. Did I say your brows earlier? I probably did. But that's that brush. This one, I purchased these are the melt brushes to work with the melt eyeliners, the potted liners, because I was having a hard time, getting a thin line with their gel products. As of the time I'm filming this, they're having a 30% off site wide, and I haven't gone on the website to see if that includes the potted gel liners, because I do want Fortune again, that green one. But then I'm thinking, should I hold out for a 50% off sale, which is when I purchased it in the first place? But anyway. And so I was able to get a somewhat thinner line, but unlike the angled ones, I do have to turn the brush sideways to get over here. Well, actually for all of it, because if I just go straight, it's not going to go behind my brows because the brush is not angled. But this one, I do enjoy it. I don't like that it frays, but once you get the gel liner on it, it does hold the bristles together. And so it's not a big deal that it frayed. And the same with the Inglot, it's not a big deal that it frayed, but it just looks weird. This one is Lethal Cosmetics, the only thin brush that held up. All the other eye brushes fell apart on me. It was a whole ordeal. But I like it because it's tapered. You see that? And so I am, if I'm careful, which usually I'm not. If I'm careful, I can get a thin line. So the key for me is having enough on the brush and just using the tip of the brush. Because if I put too much pressure, the bristles are going to bend and then the gel is going to spread out. So if I'm careful, because this is so pointy, I can get a thin line. And it's important for me to get as thin a line as possible, because if not, when I look up, all you're going to see is the gel liner. You're not going to see my lid shade, the shadow on my lid, because the puff is covering the lid. You see what I'm saying? So this does help me to do that. And I do like this brush. I just need to slow myself down enough to be careful, and it makes it easy to do a wing because it's pointed, so I can just come straight out and then bring it back and then just fill in the space. And so I do like this brush with that. One of my challenges, I'm gonna go backward for a few moments. One of my challenges with the angle brush is that yes, I can just come straight out and bring it back in, but for some reason, I think it's because this one is frayed. For some reason, it's harder for me to have a sharp line coming back in. And I think because it's frayed, but I'm not sure. User error, of course. It's always user error with me. This one, the same deal as the Lethal one. This is an Esom T3. I have a video on these. This, I believe, is the first one I purchased because it's thin. It's short and it's thin. And the other ones I purchased, because if I like a brush, I get more. Like, they were different shapes and sizes. Like, it was just, like, I did a video about it. Like, it was just weird. And so I do think this was the first one because it is the thinnest and the shortest. And when I had mentioned it to them, like, well, I did a review because I review stuff when I buy it on the website usually. And they contacted me and they were like, oh my gosh, da 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 da. And so they said, well, can we send you, I think it was like 2 more brushes or 3 brushes. And I'm thinking I already have like 5. But I'm like, okay. But what they did was, and I do think these are 2 of them, the brushes they sent were the same size and shape and length. And I sent her a picture of the 5 I had, and they all were different. And she said, thank you for sending that picture. Like, it really helps. And so they were going to, she said, send that down to production for them to see it or whatever. But it's just like, whatever, because how a brush comes out is how it comes out. But the 2 that they sent me, or the 3 they sent me, they were the same, but they still weren't as thin and short as the first one I purchased. And I knew that, and I can tell which one is the first one I purchased because it is the shortest and the thinnest, and I loved it, and that's why I bought more. But kudos to Esom for actually reading the reviews on the website, and much respect that they contacted me and was like, "Oh my goodness, like, can we send you brushes?" And I'm thinking, I don't need any more of the liner brush because I had like 5 already. So then they sent 3. I'm like, okay, this is a lot, and I did give a few away because I'm just like, and this is what we went through. We have this one and one more to show you, the MAC one. But this one, same deal. If I'm careful with the gel liner, and if I do just use the tip of it, I can get a thin line. But sometimes with gel liner, and if I press too hard, it spreads wider than I want it to. And so that's user error. And it is easy to do, a baby wing because it is tapered. So just come straight out and then bring it back and then just fill it in. And so I do actually use these brushes. This one, I purchased it because I wanted a short, thin liner brush to help me get a thin line on my upper lash line with gel liner. So this is the MAC 210. I think now, yeah, I counted earlier, I have 6 of these now. I purchased 2, and then I purchased more, and then they had a sale, I purchased some more. I don't know if they were 30% off or something. I think they were 30% off. And so I bought more. But this, when I'm careful, I am able to get an extremely thin line with this brush. And I love this brush. I just have to take my time and go slow and be careful. The issue I have sometimes is the gel liners that I have and the shadow bases that I use as liners. Some are creamier than others. If it's one that's not creamy, I can get a thinner line. But if it's a super creamy one, some of the Inglot potted gel liners are creamy. And so even if I think, okay, I'm gonna just do this and get a thin line, it's just like a blob, and I'm just like, shit. So then I'm trying to, and once it's there, you can't take it away unless I use the lipstick applicator, but then that'll ruin my eyeshadow, so it ends up being a thick line. But if I'm careful, I can get a thin line. The thinnest line I've ever been able to get with eyeliner or my upper lash line has been with this brush, the MAC 210. And unlike the Esoms, all of them are the same size and length and width. And again, it's easy to do, a wing liner. I am wing liner challenged because it ends up being an accidental swoosh. And for me, I need to just keep my head straight. Start at the outer corner and just come straight out. And then bring it back in. But what I end up doing is going up. I call it an accidental swoosh. And this shape right here, that's what my wing liner usually ends up looking like. And even though I try to bring it back in, that bottom line still has that accidental swoosh. And I do believe it is just my eye shape because of the puffiness. And so if you look, it's like I want to follow the edge of that puff. And that's what makes it have that swoosh versus just come straight, and then just bring it back versus, that. And so that's something I've been working on, is trying to get it straight. I'm able to get a straighter one when it's a short wing, but when I try to come out here, it looks a little weird because even if I come out here and bring it back, my shadow might stop up here. And so then I have to go back. Well, I don't have to, but I go back with the shadow to fill in the space, because with the swoosh, it follows where my eyeshadow is, where if I go straight, shadow stops up here. And so I could just make the wing wider, but then sometimes if the wing is long enough, it still bypasses the shadow because the shadow will stop here. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, this brush has helped me to get the thinnest line I've ever been able to get. This also, I did use it a couple times to place a graphic line under my brows. One day I did a look and I'm like, let's just do a line, put a swoosh there, swoosh there, swoosh and a swoosh. But this is really good for that. So that wraps up all of my brush videos. Let me know what your thoughts are, what you think. Here's the question. And I just realized I didn't ask questions in any of the other videos. So maybe I'll try to put a caption or put something. But here's the question, so we can just help each other out in the comments. Because I always say use what you want to, however you want to. And when we hear, oh, this brush is for that, that's the only way some people may use it. So here's the question. What brush type do you use for purposes other than what it says to use it for? So sort of how this is a precision brush, and I use this for lower lash line or for my brow bone, whereas somebody else, it might be detailed for, well, for precision. You want to be precise with your crease shade. You want to be precise with your outer V, but I'm using it for brow bone and for lower lash line. So that's kind of what I mean. What brush do you have, brush type do you have that you use it other than what they say? The same with this thick ass smudger brush from Scott. I don't use it to smudge. I use it to place shimmer metallic shadows on my lower lash line. So that's the question. Comments always welcome. I do appreciate, if you're not subscribed, if you do, of course, I appreciate when you like, you share, you comment. And if you're interested in joining, that is much appreciated as well. Thank you for indulging me on these brush videos, and I hope they were helpful. I hope it gave you something to think about. And that is going to be it. We didn't do the intro for this video. But as always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me very soon.